Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you I say shalom. In this lesson, I'll be going into this article from RT News. Just read a little bit into it and then get some precepts out. So pretty much the title of this article, it says Pentagon reveals $10 billion arms hole due to Ukraine. So here you got Pentagon dealing with what's the word? What's the term? A deficit, right? A deficit in the amount of weaponry that they got, right? It says they have a $10 billion arms hole. So I'm going to just read a little bit into it. It says the U.S. Defense Department has delivered weapons to Kiev, expecting future appropriations to cover replacements, a senior official has said. So it reads, the Pentagon wants the U.S. Congress to allocate $10 billion to compensate for weapons it has delivered to Ukraine and to replenish its own stocks. It says, American media reported on Monday, citing senior officials, unless the deficit is covered, the ongoing hole will put a strain in the U.S. military itself. One source told Politico, the White House has requested over $60 billion in supplemental Ukraine assistance, but the Republican-controlled House has stonewalled repeated calls by U.S. President Joe Biden to release the money. So here you got, this, Joe, Wacky Joe, or Sleepy Joe as they call him, right? He pretty much is keeping on. He's continuing to send money to Ukraine, right, to this war, into their efforts over there, right? And but yet they don't even have enough money to cover their own military funding. Here you got $10 billion that the Pentagon is asking, to be, allocated to them for their expenditure that they gave over to Ukraine, right? That supplemental aid, right? That they gave over to Ukraine. So here it's saying that unless the deficit is covered, the ongoing hole will put a strain on the U.S. military itself. So here you got more, strain being put on Esau's system. Period. Right. The economy itself is being put on a strain. People's the civilians' money, their pockets, household, everything here in America is being put on the strain. But this just goes to show you that this is ain't nothing new under the sun, right? The same way Slovakia, the same way Rome went out, the same way we're seeing America go out, right? We're seeing the same thing, right? The same symptoms, right? Because what happened before the fall of Rome? They were wearing themselves out thin. Rome was into everything and anything, right? Putting the money here, the money there, right? Trying to hold. And at the end, they were in a lot of wars, and they were sending money here, sending money there to try to hold off enemy forces. But eventually they wore themselves out thin, and we're seeing the same thing happen here in America, right? They're wearing their cells out thin, right? We're seeing them deal with that shit going on in the I believe it's the Red Sea, if I'm not mistaken, right? How their ships their cargo ships are getting, shot down and whatnot, which is causing, you know, a strain on their economy, and we're going to see that start kicking in even more on over here on us, right, over here in America. But point being that all these things are starting to happen, right? All these things are starting to take place, the same way that Rome went out, right? America is starting to go out the same way. More pressure, more money is being spent, more strain on the on everything, on every aspect, right? Again, this is Rome 2.0, and the Most High is is the Most High's got a sense of humor because he's making this place go out in the same fashion, the same way Esau went out the first time, you know. But let me read a little bit more into this. It says the official said the big funding piece waiting in the supplemental needs to be approved for the U.S. arsenal to be replenished. Otherwise, it would come back on our own readiness, on our own stockpile, and to a certain extent, right? So, of course, you're gonna. America always has reserves, right? But you know, $10 billion. That's a lot of weapons. That's a lot of money, and we're entering a time period where a ultimately it's going to come down to war. You know, wars and rumors of wars. We're hearing all about that. America is sending all this money over there. Creating this what's it called, proxy war. With Ukraine. You got the shit with Taiwan. You got so many things going on right now. You know, again, going back to that point. America is wearing itself out. Is wearing itself out thin, right? To the point where they ain't going to have enough money to allocate to their military funding, to agricultural or whatever, right? Whatever money is supposed to go is they're not receiving the full amount, right? Pretty much, of course, the money is the bloodline, right? So the bloodline is being made, is being, is wearing thin, right? And when you put that much constraint on any vein, right, in your body, that certain body ain't getting enough nutrients. Say your arm, right? You ain't getting enough blood to your left arm. Your left arm is gonna be weaker, and eventually, once all the body parts don't get enough blood through it, right to it, eventually the whole body's gonna be weak, man. And that's exactly as we see in America, and America's enemies are seeing that. They're seeing that this place is falling, right? It's becoming weak. Shit. The military itself is a laughing stock. Having women, trans, modes, all this shit, right? But yet you got all these other, countries having, all these shows, right? These, I forgot what they call them, but pretty much when they show off their military force, right? Having these little events where, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, you had Moab do I guess, what's it called? Pretty much, yeah, just an example, right? They had some, they had their soldiers, breaking bricks and pieces of wood and doing all kinds of flips and shit. You know, same thing with the Russian military, right? But yeah, you got here in America, man, everybody's over here posting videos on TikTok, twerking and doing all kinds of bullshit, man, just foolishness, you know. Plus, a lot of people here in America, who join the military, they just go in it for the money, try to get the opportunities, right? They ain't going in there for war. They're going in there so they can pay for their college, right? So they can get some money because they don't get enough money around here, man, to be able to pay for living. Just the cost of living is too high, right? So, hey, this is all problems that's coming to America. And we're seeing it being made evident, right? The fall of America is, hey, we're seeing it, man. We're witnessing it day by day, right? Now, let's get some precepts. I want to touch on the point that, this is, again, Rome all over again. Let's get Revelation 13, and we'll come back to that. Habakkuk 2, I'm going to get that as well. But let's start with this. Revelation 13 and verse 1, it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. Right. So those 7 heads, dealing with the heads, the pretty much the roots, right, of Esau, which are the Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, Germania Major, Germania Minor, France, and Britain, right? Those are the 7 heads. And it says in 10 horns. Those 10 horns go to the NATO and EU, which back then, during the Roman Empire, they were vassal states, right? But now, since this revamping of Rome, revamping of that dragon, right? This beast, of course, we're going to see that we're going to have more vassals, right? Those 10 horns, which originally goes back to 10, like I said, vassal states. Of course, now since America has taken over majority of pretty much the whole earth, right? So you're going to have a lot more vassals. But that's pretty much NATO and the EU, right? So verse 2, it says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion." The leopard going into the Greeks, right? The bear going into the Russians. The feet meaning the end. The beginning is a leopard, which is the Greeks, right? And then you have the feet, which is the end, being the bear. The Russians is going to be the end of Esau's, hegemony, kingdom, rulership. But it says, "And his mouth as the mouth of a lion," being Great Britain, right? It says, "And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority." That dragon being the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, what established dominance in Esau's kingdom, right? That established dominance at that time period over these various countries, right? Over the earth, predominantly, right? But it says, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast." Right? So that deadly wound was the fall of Rome, right? Roughly around 300 AD, right? Whenever Rome fell, that was that wound. Then it came back 1,000 years later, right? After the Dark Ages, as a time period called the Renaissance, right? Renaissance, re meaning back, naissance meaning birth, right? So rebirth. That's pretty much what Renaissance means. So, and why do they call it that? It ain't no coincidence why they call it rebirth, because this is the rebirth of the Roman Empire, right? Roman customs, the cultures, the traditions, the holidays, what they call holidays, right? The philosophies, the arts, all that, romance, all that, all that is back, right? But it says, what was that? It says, "And the deadly wound was healed." Verse 3, latter part, verse 3. It says, "And all the world wondered after the beast," right? And ultimately, that's America, right? Because everybody marvels or wonders after America, right? Everybody wants to come here, right? America is a land of opportunity, as they say, right? Verse 4 says, "And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" Right, because you see, America's the hammer of the earth. I believe that was someone else who said that. I don't know if it was a senator or I can't remember exactly who it was, but pretty much hammer of the earth, just going into the fact that it's a military hammer, right? They have dominion over the earth, and through their military, they're able to, uh, 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 I guess you could say, exude dominance over the rest of the nations, right? Which is what they do. That's the reason why. But you can look it up. They have I believe it's over 700 bases, 700 or 800, 900, something like that. But they have over 700 military bases across the world, No other nation has that many bases, showing you who has dominion, right? Who is that hammer of the earth? That's the United States, right? As a matter of fact, let me get that. Jeremiah 50 and verse 23. It says, how is the hammer of the earth cut asunder and broken? How was Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Right, and this is exactly America is considered as the daughter of Babylon, right? Babylon the Great. It, it ain't no coincidence that right here it talks about, it says, hammer of the earth, right? That's America, the hammer of the earth. It says, let me see. I'm gonna read verse 4 again. It says, and they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with them, right? And that's another thing that Esau's got. He's got too much pride. They got too much pride. And here in America thinks that the Americans think that America's never going to go down. That no matter all these, we're seeing all these signs, all these different red flags, right, popping up. Showing the signs of America's fall, the signs of the collapse of a civilization, right? And yeah, you got these proud ass Americans thinking that America's able to bounce back. America's able to stand strong and stand firm throughout the ages. That's not the case. America, like any other nation, has a beginning and has an end. And, you know, and it's just that time. It's just that time for America to fall, right? But let's see. Let's get from here. Let's get Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, right? Esau's all over the place, right? Going here, going there, trying to extract people's resources, all these other nations' resources, right? Sticking his nose where it don't belong, right? Not minding his own business. But it says, he transgresses by wine, meaning his philosophies, right? He is a proud man, We can go into his pride. As a matter of fact, let's get real quick. Obadiah is an example. Obadiah 1 and 3, because this whole chapter is speaking about Edom, right? We're here in verse 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom, right? This whole chapter, the whole book of Obadiah is speaking on Edom, right? And, some parts talk about the nations as well, but primarily Esau, Edom. But it says, verse 3, it says, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's exactly the mindset of an Edomite, right? Of these Babylonians, who's going to bring him down to the ground, right? Let's see, let's go back to Habakkuk. Habakkuk 2 and verse 5, it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Right? This man can't be satisfied. Enough is never enough. He's taking everybody's resources. He's taking everybody's land. He's taking he's taking everything for himself. But yet that's still not enough. Right? Eventually, that's why he's coming out. He's going to come down upon everybody and force everybody to take that, that sihib, that mark. Because he wants full and total control, dominion. He wants to be like the Most High, right? So, again, like it says, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right? Isn't that what he does? He isn't that as a matter of fact, one of the United States mottos, this is like a de facto type of motto. It's on their dollar bill, I believe. It says E pluribus unum. E pluribus unum, which is Latin for out of many one, right? So that alone, that's a giveaway of who this is talking about. It's talking about America, you know. But gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. E pluribus unum, out of many one, right? That's what America is, man. It's a big melting pot of different nations, right? You got here in America, you got every nation in the world. You got people out of every nation in the world, right, living here, calling America home, right? Shit, America is founded upon immigrants, right? Isn't that what they tell you, right? In the what's it called? Um, in the secular history, right? When you go to school, right? So you got so many nations over here, man. So this can only be pointing to America because there ain't no other nation that has all the nations around the world going to it, right? As I mentioned earlier, America, as they say, is a land of opportunity. Verse 6, continuing on, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay, that thick clay going into that debt, right? If I'm not mistaken, that debt right now is like around 34.4 million. I mean, it's like a trillion, and it's even more than that. That's what they're telling you, right? That's what they tell us, and when you Google it, it says 34.4 trillion, right? As of March 2024, and it's still counting, man. That thing is going up. It ain't slowing down. As a matter of fact, it might be going faster, right? Especially with all this, all these money that they're sending to Ukraine and to all these other places, Israel, right? And there's gonna be more things, that they're gonna be spending the money on. So, you know, all these Americans' pockets, man, them dollar bills ain't gonna be worth shit soon. But this is all prophecy, man, coming to pass. The fall of America, right? The fall of Rome 2.0. We're seeing the exact same symptoms, man. So let's see, verse 7, it says, shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake, that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, right? Being spoils. That's exactly what America is going to be. It's going to be ripe for the picking. That's why you see a lot of these troops, right, coming in through, well, I guess you can call them sleeper agents, right, coming in through the border, and once they're activated, hey, they're going to start looting and spoiling America and Americans, right? Verse 8, it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, right? Hey, America has a lot of enemies. America has treated these other nations poorly, man. Tricked them, robbed them. Hey, and these nations are mad. Not just that, even the nations that are in alliance with America. We're going to soon see some of these nations turn their back to America, right? But it says, verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Con. Yes, I know that's pretty much it. America, again, Rome 2.0. All the same things is reoccurring. Except the only difference this time is that Yahweh Shah is going to be the one to take down America fully and completely, right? He's going to do away with Esau's rulership, right? His kingdom, His enterprise is all going to be destroyed. You know, America is going to be a desert, right? Going to be rained upon by nuclear destruction. I mean, by the nuclear bombs, right? And lead this place into a complete wasteland. That's going to be the difference. That's going to be the eradication of this dragon, right? This time, this is going to be the end, right? So, with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you I say, Shalom.